So these are the books that hurt me the most when I finished reading them because they didn't do it. Good morning, it's Karen, and these were my biggest disappointments. Let's start off first by explaining what a disappointment is to me is a book where I go into it thinking it's going to be wonderful and great and I want it to be my new favorite and I have high expectations of the author and the delivery just fell flat. Okay, this is a controversial one, I'm certain. I put this one on my list because it is an award winner. It is highly, highly praised. I had such high expectations, and they were so dashed. Wolf Hall? This was one of my challenge books. Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, the late Hilary Mantel. I think she just passed away. Like, I feel so like this is blasphemous, but I struggled with this one. This was going to be my challenge book. It was the one that I wanted to read before I gave birth. This was my book. And it's everything I should love. It's the Tudor era. It's exploring the whole Henry VIII and breaking from the church and getting into it with his first wife and Anne Boleyn and just like wanting to get into that, and I just couldn't. The prose was the thing that I struggled with the most, and I read someone's review where they said the prose is very dreamlike, and I would agree in that it just felt very hazy, very fuzzy. I could barely follow anything, and I know this history very deeply, and it just fell completely flat. And I read this entire book, 650 pages, and it just I don't know what to do with it now. I don't want to have it on my shelves. It was so disappointing. I will just like sorry, bye. The next one is called The Enigma of Room 622. No, 662. One of those. Don't care. This was supposed to be like a really cool, interconnected kind of like Budapest Hotel, but with a mystery and like something happens in the room and like everybody's like, "Ooh!" I'm pretty certain it's translated. I don't know if it's the translation that did it, but I hated this. I really did. The problem for me was the pacing. And here's what I mean by the pacing was that we would get two timelines of the past of the main character and then the future of the main character. And every time it would start to get really exciting in the future, we would get a flashback. And it just was such a pace killer. Like, I was getting into it, I was liking it, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to tell you the story about me and my father. No, thank you. There wasn't much of a mystery. It was not that exciting. And like even the reveal, I was like, okay, whatever. Um it was too long. It was also honestly too long. Like, please whittle this down and less backstory. Like, I get it. It's supposed to the backstory is supposed to lead to this grand reveal, but like in the end I was just like, oh, just be done. I love Agatha Christie, and this is why this one hurt me so much. This is Death in the Clouds. This was about a person who gets murdered on a plane, and all the suspects are the people that are on the plane. So it's closed room, and I just didn't like it. I don't know. I think it was told from an inspector's point of view. I don't remember because it didn't make any impact on me. I don't even remember who it was because by the time I got to the ending, I was like, whatever, I don't care. And I really wanted to watch this one because this one is the one that they reference in the Doctor Who episode where he meets Agatha Christie, and it's sort of centered around the theme of this book. This is not one of my favorites, and this is not one that I would recommend. This next one's a really tricky one. Okay, this is Matrix by Lauren Groff. I have read several of Lauren Groff's books, Monsters of Templeton, Florida, and I think I just need to be done with her because her writing and we just don't mesh. We're like oil and water. There's something with her writing that it becomes too much. And I don't know if it's like she'll start and it'll be beautiful and then it just keeps going. There's no definition. You can have pretty prose, that's fine. But in the story that you're trying to tell, like this one didn't make any sense. This one was following Marie de France. This is a very famous nun who wrote a lot of works, and there was next to nothing about her actual writing. It was more about how she became a hashtag boss lady of the nunnery. It was a bit too much. There was a lot of nun love, and I didn't need that. That might be some people's jam, that's fine. I just personally didn't need that extra fever dream type thing. I wanted to love this so much because nuns and monks and historical, like getting into famous people, like those are my favorite things. But this should have been my favorite, and it wasn't. I didn't love it. Didn't love it. Oh my goodness. This is another one. This is another beloved one by people. This is Trust. This I this is one where I can say I get it. I get why people love it. I get the intricacies of the storytelling. There are like three different sections and they relate to one another, but they're experimental with each other and like it tells a grander story. I don't know if I was supposed to be like floored by the reveal, but I wasn't really, and I was like, okay, whatever. I just don't like economic books, books about the economy and about the stock market. This one just went for me. I mean, I still gave it 3 stars because I saw what it was doing, but it was not the 5 stars that I wanted it to be. Another one where this should have been a book that I loved. It's got music in it and there's a mystery. And this was Symphony of Secrets. This is about they find this symphony, this lost, missing symphony of this very famous person that's just synonymous with music and everybody knows them. It's like a Tchaikovsky or a Wagner or like your modern day John Williams. Like they imagine finding the lost manuscript of John Williams. Like it's billed as that type. And we are told story, again, dual timeline between the future of this person trying to discover where this came from, analyzing it. Like it seems really cool. And then we get the past of the composer and leading up to the manuscript and how it comes to be and disappears. And the problem I had with this one was it was not a mystery. I knew what the storyline and the mystery was by basically chapter 2. My least favorite type of mystery is the one where we, the reader, know something and it takes the main character 200 pages or more to figure that thing out. It is so frustrating and it is so like womp. Like there's nothing gripping to it, and there's so much potential in this book. And maybe I need to read his other one, but I don't know. I cannot do the books where they tell the reader what the reveal is. I don't want to be told. I want to go along for the ride, and if I can figure it out in chapter 2, like I should have just put this down, but like whatever. As I'm going on, I'm getting more frustrated because these books should have been good. This one I shouldn't have been disappointed by, though I have learned that I don't do well with bestsellers, any super popular books. They tend to fall flat for me, and this was one, and it was the last thing that he told me. This is a mystery where a woman's husband just disappears, and then suddenly the police are there, and they're like, your husband is wanted for fraud. And she's like, what? He would never do anything like this. And he's like, his whole tech company has gone like belly up. It's just the story of like why he goes missing. And the one redeemable thing that I did like about this was that they seemingly had a strong domestic relationship, the woman and the man who goes missing. I did appreciate that because I'm tired of reading stories where like, oh, he cheated on her and he disappeared with the other woman, or they had drifted apart from each other. I don't want to read that. And so I was very thankful to read that they loved each other very much and they were very coupley and they were together. I did appreciate that. But the mystery, I just fell flat for me. So sorry. No thanks. No more bestsellers for me. No more. Oh man, I just keep looking at this list and going, oh, it should have been so good. Heart of the Sun Warrior. I raved about the first book, Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I loved it. It was so fun. There was so much that it just like delved into and like the Chinese mythology, and I loved it. Second book. It felt like a long-winded video game where the main character needs to get something. So in order to get here, she has to get this secret relic from this place that's guarded by this magical monster. So she goes and she fights this magical monster and she gets the relic. But it turns out she needs this extra other relic. So she has to go and find this other thing and go over here and do all these other things before she can come back over to here. But it turns out when she brings those things over here, she has to do like 5 more other side quests. No! Too much. It lacked direction, and I wanted direction, and I didn't get it. So I'm so sad. And the last one was my last disappointing read. I love Jilly McMillan. The Nanny, fabulous. Odd Child Out, fabulous. The Manor House was the one that just came out, and it was I like her characters. There is the most detestable character in this one, and thankfully we don't get a lot of them. This was kind of a cool, like, this husband and wife win the lottery and they buy this place out in the middle of nowhere, and then he gets murdered, and then it's all the whole like, ooh, how did that happen? And like a lot of manipulation. And I don't know if I liked the conclusion. So this one was for me. So I'll look forward to the next Jilly McMillan. Can you do another one of those Inspector books, please? Because those ones were really lovely. That's my personal plea to Jilly McMillan. So my name is Karen, and those were my big disappointments. Also, apparently they created a bit of turmoil in me. I didn't realize that until I started talking about them. Sorry about that. My name is Karen. I'm the book Libronaut, and I love exploring all different types of books, and some of them just disappoint. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Good job. Little boy. Mama. Hi, good girl. Little boy down there. Hi. Hi, little boy down there. Little boy down there. Hi, Mama. I wanted to love it so badly. No.